Hi, I'm Jim.
And I'm David.
And this is the Practical Guitarist Podcast.
The podcast for people who eat, sleep, and breathe guitar. The Practical Guitarist Podcast is brought to you by Great Lakes Guitar Pickups. Great Lakes Guitar Pickups provides fantasy tones at prices a practical guitarist will love. Featuring top-notch construction, attention to detail, and a fully custom product, if you can dream it, Great Lakes Guitar Pickups can probably build it. Follow them on Facebook at facebook.com/Great Lakes Guitar Pickups. Are you a regular listener? Why not? David here reminding you of all the ways you can participate in the Practical Guitarist Podcast. Subscribe using your chosen podcast app. Review us on iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or Google Play. Find our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/practicalguitarist or on Twitter as @practguitarist. Support the show. Merchandise is available in our Threadless store at practicalguitaristpodcast.threadless.com. And donate to us via Patreon, available at patreon.com/practicalguitarist. Reach out to us directly via email at questions@practicalguitarist.com. Hi, Jim.
Hi, David.
I am insulted and terrified that you just did that to me.
I just had an awesome run, all tanks. For those who know MMOs, had an all tank run of the latest Dragon Expert Roulette.
He's really fucking excited, people.
It was awesome. All tanks.
Let's see.
Wipes.
The last time I played a massively multiplayer online game was probably World of Warcraft, like 15 years ago. Man, there's a hole in the ground you can throw your money into.
Every month.
Yep. So,
terrible.
Well,
I probably paid. Let's see. I've been paying, not including the every other year, plus the initial ones. So there's been 3 expansion packs at $60 a piece. One I paid $100 for. Add the $18 a month, $22 a month.
They get your money's worth. You pay about $500-$600 over the life of the game.
Dude, I could. Yeah, I could buy another guitar.
Right.
I need to close this account and start buying up more guitars.
That's what how I look at things. Like, God, I can have my teeth fixed, or I can get another guitar.
All right,
it's fucking awful.
Don't need my teeth.
Yeah, fuck them. I'll get portion of veneers eventually. Fuck it. So we have obviously had a hell of a day. By the way, for our audience tonight, there's no set topics. We're flying blind, sort of. There's been some shit that's happened. We're going to address some elephants in the Facebook group, and yeah.
First, I want to take a second of silence for some sad news that I got today. It was one of my Facebook friends is Nick Bowers, and he or Nick Bowcutt, sorry, and he's been involved with a lot of heavy metal musicians, and he's written for a lot of people in the past. And I think he's working for Sweetwater now.
Yep,
he was a Marshall guy.
Yep.
Anyway, the All That Remains guitarist Ole Herbert has passed away at 44 years old, just 44 years old. That's pretty sad. Let's just take a second to remember him and to wish his family the best. All right, man, we got to stop being sad on this show. This is fucking silly.
No, we're going to be angry now.
Yeah, but Ole wouldn't have wanted us to be sad too long.
This is going to be, I'm sure he would not. Most people wouldn't. This is going to be one of those, like the stages of grief and acceptance type things.
Yeah.
Where we move directly from like grief to anger.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not going to You're not going to go anywhere in between. Let's get that fueled anger.
Look. I now I feel bad because I probably posted the guy's information in the group, but
you can always
I had
it out.
to. I'll probably have to go back and
But
take it out. But
I wouldn't. You know why?
not a
Because
big
I don't
deal.
want any of our listeners to.
No, I really
fall
don't.
for his shit.
If you want to know who this dickhead is, you can go freaking troll through the Facebook group and find the post.
Yeah.
So this doesn't have anything to do with something that went down in the Facebook group. As everybody has probably been aware, if you listened to the last 2 episodes, I was in the process of buying a pickup mule guitar for the show. As a result of our association with Nick Bongers and Great Lakes Pickups.
Yep.
And guitar pickups, not pickups. We're not buying pickup trucks.
Or getting our trash taken out.
No. And so anyway, because of this, so Jim and I are both in the market for pickup guitars. I thought I had scored one right away because I found an Ibanez S series. I believe it's a S 470 DX. Whatever. Ibanez is fucking model numbers suck.
I think the one you got was the SPOS.
No, it was just we're getting there. All right, we're getting there. I follow, and I followed you initially, but we're gonna. Yeah, Jim's correct, but the way we get there is the journey. Okay, the journey, folks. And yes. I apologize. I know my microphone will be clipping throughout this entire thing because I'm going to get
very
loud.
Angry.
And yes,
I'm going to mute for a second while I laugh.
An intense topic for my therapy session today as well. So I received the guitar yesterday afternoon. I received the guitar, a gig bag, and parts of a couch, and pretty much nothing else. Okay, no box, no tremolo bar. Missing pieces of the nut and the Floyd Rose nut assembly, which it's not a Floyd Rose, it's a zero Ibanez ZR trim, but it's a Floyd, okay, except it floats on a ball bearing. And okay, so first off, I knew I wasn't going to get some of the hardware. I figured that up front. That's not what pissed me off in this situation. I paid $260 for the guitar. I believe it was $50 shipping, which he actually paid more for the shipping costs, so that's his own damn fault. So it was $200. So that would have made it like $315 or something, all said and done. So fair enough. The guitar arrives, and it doesn't arrive at my place. It arrives at my parents' place because I'm not here during the day. And I go to pick it up after work, and I open the foyer door, and laying in the floor is a guitar gig bag. And my first question was, where's the box? And my mom says, there wasn't a box. And then I said, you're fucking kidding. And she said, nope, that's how it came. And I turned it over, and there was a piece of tape with an address on the headstock portion of this bag. So let me break this down for everyone. This went through the mail in a bag wrapped with basically couch cushion inside the bag. And I only know that because when I unwrapped it, we were concerned about getting bed bugs. I mean, this thing was not packed right. USPS will not give you your fucking money if this guitar gets damaged in transit. You're muted, Jim. You're still muted.
Couldn't find my mouse to save my life. What I couldn't believe. So those of you who have seen the video,
yeah, there's a video in the Facebook group. Sure, go watch the unboxing.
What I couldn't believe is you unboxed that on top of your bed. I think I would have unboxed that like on top of a where someone is being bombed.
My wife definitely gave me shit for unboxing that on the bed.
She should have.
But she was also holding the camera.
Oh, so, I know.
So
she was yelling at the cat. Let's get there. We'll get there.
Get the fucking cat out of there. So I opened this guitar up on my bed in my house on Facebook Live. No, I think we actually just videotaped it and then put it on Facebook. Which there's only a 15-minute time delay. I mean, it was like that quick. I open the bag and I can see this foam insulation looking shit. And I immediately go, what the fuck did this guy pack this with?
It literally looked like if you went to, what is that? Not Big Lots. And you got a shitty couch.
And just cut it open and use that as your packing material.
Yeah, you cut it open and then use that crappy foam that's inside of it.
Here's where it gets...
But you had to let your cat piss on it first.
Yeah, he had to let his cat piss and shit on it because it smelled like really bad. It smelled like rancid ass. This is a couch that he clearly like shit on all the time. He shit his pants instead of going to the bathroom. Like that's what this was.
Drunk, guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly, I looked at it and I went, did this guy like buy a couch cushion from Goodwill or something? Because where do you get that? Where do you even fucking get that? It's like fiber fill.
I know there's people that are going to go, oh, it's that spray foam, because you can do that. You can buy the spray foam.
Oh, no.
Fill.
It was not spray foam.
It's not that.
No, not at all. No, no. So, grossness aside, I plunged my hand into this bag of doom.
Oh, I know.
And
I watched.
You saw the look on my face, like, I don't know if I want to do this. And I put my hand in there and I pull out the Ibanez S Series 470 DXQM. And I put it on the bed.
Which at this point smells bad.
The front of the guitar looks fine. Still hanging on my wall. We're getting there. The front of the guitar looks fine, right? There's like no dents on it. There's nothing on the sides, like in the front facing. He took several pictures of this angle before he listed it on eBay. And the only thing you can really see from the front that's messed up is a no trem bar, missing parts on the headstock. Then I flip the guitar over. I start looking it over, and at first I'm like, there's a couple dings, little stuff. Like for a $250 guitar, I don't expect much because this is obviously
right.
I think these new were $500 or $600.
Right.
So I'm like looking it over. I'm like, all right, well, to be fair, everybody in the group, you need to know these guitars regularly go for about $300 to $350, right? You'll see them occasionally listed at $400.
Yep.
But this particular model usually goes for $350 to $400. They were not super popular when they were new. They are not super popular now. So I looked the guitar over some more, and I'm rolling around in the video, and you can see. Then I start seeing the real problems. Okay, there is a giant crack. It's about 4 inches. It runs from the tremolo cavity back to not where the strap pin is, but just south of the strap pin. On the Ibanez Gem, there's a place where you plug in the cable there, the socket. It's right there on the guitar. So just south of the strap pin by about 3 inches. And if you look at the crack, it actually goes through the body and wraps around. Okay, almost. And the Ibanez the S series is a very round shape. It's a carved top through and through, backside and front side. So it's pretty clear to me in looking at the crack that the crack is probably through the body. It's not all the way through the body, but it's definitely through the body to some extent, at least on that side. Okay, so I kind of peek in and I look at the cavity a little bit. There's not really any cracking going on inside the cavity that I can see with the naked eye. But the Ibanez S-Trem, the assembly, actually blocks my view somewhat, so it makes it a little bit more difficult to see that kind of thing. The other thing I quickly noticed was on the upper forearm contour, on the back side, the guitar had been dropped. Okay, and it took a hard hit to that forearm contour. I mean, it's pretty jacked up, and the finish is all, of course, since it's a clear finish, it just turned white, and you can see where the wood is dented really bad and all that. So immediately, you got finish problems, like major finish problems and a potential crack in the guitar. Even to just fix the finish problems, you're looking at several $100s for repair. Probably about $200, I would think, $200 to $300, because they're gonna have to strip the back of the guitar, re-clear it. I'm not doing that anyway. This is the whole point. But if you were gonna make the argument, oh well, I'll pay for the damage, you've already totaled the guitar, man. So now, as I'm looking at the guitar more, I find some other little dents, dings. There's some buckle rash. No big deal on the buckle rash. You kind of expect that with the used guitar anyway. And I noticed also that the knobs are not the original knobs, which is fine. I was going to replace those anyway. So at this point, I've already made the decision. By the end of the video, you can see I say the F word, and then I basically make the decision at that point that I'm going to go directly off the video to eBay and start the process. So I take pictures, obviously document everything, and then go to eBay. And I don't know if anybody's ever been through the eBay arbitration process. I have 43 purchases on eBay in my account. I probably have bought more stuff than that over the years, but in this account, I only have 43 purchases. And I'm looking and I'm going, I don't think I've ever done this. And it dawns on me, I have never actually had to request a replacement or something to that effect. Go back to somebody after the purchase and say something. So I get back in there and I look around and I find the place where you click to start a case. Now I'm figuring at this point eBay is going to take over. So I write a very factual explanation of what I'm seeing and how it doesn't match the original listing, right? Because the original listing had, I think, 5 or 6 pictures. You can go to the thread in the group and you can see them because it has the original listing up there. The pictures do not show the neck. There's a neck pocket crack. They do not show the upper bout crack, or I guess it's not upper bout. It's where the forearm contour is on the back side. They do not show the body crack that is potentially through the body, and they don't show really some of the missing hardware. I mean, they don't highlight it. It's in the picture, but it's like down in the corner, which is why I missed it initially. But stupid me, I should have looked for that. As far as I'm concerned, that's my fault. Now, here's where it gets interesting. So I put in this kind of factual ticket and I say, look, I realize that a lot of these problems are purely aesthetic, but the reality is I bought a guitar assuming that it was going to at least look halfway decent. And we've got some serious problems here in terms of a body crack and a potential neck pocket damage. I also mentioned that he shipped it like shit and that there will be no insurance coverage for the shipping, which there won't. If you ship a guitar in a gig bag with padding inside, that is not an approved list of containers for either USPS, UPS, FedEx, DHL. None of those companies will back you.
Now, did you say that this was USPS?
Yes, this was USPS.
All right, I can't believe that a USPS rep. Now, I can believe it, but I can't believe that they would, on a regular basis, accept something. I've
seen crazier things, believe it or not. I saw a guitar neck one time come in to the UPS or USPS location, literally just a neck with a label on it. No. I'm not even getting no padding, nothing. Neck, label. That was it. So occasionally some stupid shit happens and shit slips through, right? So this is an example of that, where the rep should have been like, it's probably one of those mailbox, etc. places or something. That's what I'm figuring. Because they're just like, fuck it, throw it in the truck, instead of actually doing their damn job and making sure the thing's boxed up. Now, let's back up for a minute. So if you remember from prior episodes, I mentioned probably that the guy came to me and he said, hey, you use PayPal to pay for this. Is there any way you can back that out and we can pay some other way? Which I responded and I said, no, fuck no, because I want to be protected. Okay. And you should want me to be protected too, because then I feel comfortable spending money with you. All right. So I explained to him, hey, look, I know they have a holding period. You can call PayPal as soon as I receive the guitar and get the holding period taken off. However, not if there's a ticket filed, in which case there's a ticket filed. So fuck you. You're not getting your money back, or you're not getting my money, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
So now here's where we are, right? I sent him a message that night, which I thought was going back to eBay directly. So it was completely dispassionate. I'm sure that's part of the reason why I got the message I got in the morning. But I got a very long-winded message about how I'm a scammer. Apparently, I'm trying to rip him off of his hard-earned money because he doesn't do returns. He doesn't do returns. So apparently that's now my fault that he doesn't do returns. Now, let me explain something. The no return policy has to do with returning something because you don't like it, or it's because, it's function. Like, as long as it's functional and it's as described, a no return policy can apply, right? You can't send it back and expect your money back. Totally understand that. Everything should be no return as far as that's concerned. on eBay. However, if you don't adequately describe the item, by the way, when you look at this listing, it's in the Facebook group, you'll see there's not a fucking line that describes the guitar in question. Not a fucking word is said. Okay? So I'm led to believe that the guitar is at least in halfway decent shape. Now, me being the smart ass that I am, I look at it and I go, it's $250. There's obviously some stuff wrong with this guitar. However, a 4-inch crack through the body should have put this thing in the fucking garbage. I'm sorry. That's ridiculous. You don't sell your trash to people, okay? If you want to sell your trash to people, list it as trash. Don't list it as a guitar that's worth $250. This is fucking horse shit, okay? I honestly was so pissed off this morning after I got this message where he was calling me a scammer. Are you fucking kidding me, man? Are you how am I the scammer? Who's the one getting ahead here? You pawned your shitty ass piece of garbage off on me, you son of a bitch. And then you want to act like I'm fucking scamming? Screw you! Like I need your fucking Texas hillbilly money. Bullshit. No offense to anyone who lives in Texas. I used to live there myself. But this guy, I'm telling you, anybody who packs a fucking guitar with an old couch is a fucking hillbilly. So now I'm left to pick up the pieces to this whole shenanigan fucking disaster. And I got a message from him as part of this whole thing, calling me the scammer. He also mentions in there that I'm taking advantage of him because he doesn't have much money and he spent his last money basically shipping me the guitar. And you had no fucking business listing that thing on eBay, you dumb son of a bitch. I'm sorry, but I don't have any sympathy for somebody who spends their last $50 to sell something on eBay. That is a musical instrument. It's not something you need to live. You could have walked your happy ass down to the pawn shop and got the $50 they'd give you for that thing because it ain't worth any more than that. It just isn't. You put that thing up on Craigslist and you watch how many people come out and see that guitar and then tell you to go fuck yourself. Like that's what's just insanely irritating to me about this is that he sits there and he insults me, but doesn't realize that he's trying to take advantage of. Well, I think he probably does realize that he's trying to take advantage of other people. Now, so fast forward, I write him a letter this morning, and I basically I'm pretty dickish with him, but I said, look, I understand where you're coming from. You're saying that these things are extraneous problems. Let me explain why I don't think they are. And let me also explain how you violated the terms of service of eBay and expecting me not to return this to you and how this is a problem. So then I waited pretty much all day to hear a response from him. I'm going to check while I'm on the podcast here right now. We may be reading one aloud. I responded again the second time because I reread his message and I said, you know what? I want to make sure I nip this in the bud. I want to make sure that he gets an adequate response that covers the bases that he set up. I have 2 responses from him. So my next response was basically, look, man, I understand where you're coming from. Like, obviously this does not look kosher to you. You need to understand some things about how eBay works, and you need to understand that you're in the wrong. And look, I do feel bad for you. If you legitimately do not understand the rules of eBay, you should be taking some time out to figure them out before you go forward. And I explained some things about shipping and how you can't get insurance on something that's shipped that way, which means you've already fucked me because if the guitar's damaged, I have nothing to claim against. You have nothing to claim against. Okay? Now, there are some scams that go off on eBay where people will ship something that's pre-damaged and insure it so that they can then claim it when it gets to the other end and the person's pissed off. I'm not totally sure that that's what's going on here, but it's a possibility. Okay, so let's read message number 1. I'm sure these came in as he read my other messages. Okay. So now he's going, coming into an understanding sounds like you would accept $100 partial refund. No. You'd also be keeping the item. However, in the next sentence, you say you won't keep it. So definitively, would you like $100 back or will you be shipping it back? When will you ship? I'll ship it fucking tomorrow. I'll ship it tonight if I can fucking get it out of here. That's a good message. I can't get this piece of shit out of my possession fast enough. That's where I'm at right now. I literally cannot get this piece of shit out of my house. In my storage area out here, I have placed the guitar. Okay, it is, or not the guitar, the gig bag for the guitar, because the gig bag is fucking ruined as a result of the packing materials. So my intention will be is to go to my local music retailer, Good Time Music, and ask them for a box. Okay, I will place said guitar in gig bag, maybe wrapped in plastic. Okay, with cardboard underneath the strings, and I won't ship the guitar tuned up, which that's fucking brilliant, by the way, so that I won't tear his guitar up any further. I will place it into a nice box in the bag that is thoroughly wrapped and blocked so that the bag is not going to shift around in the box, and this guy will get his guitar back in just the shape that I received it. Now let's read his second message, okay? Ship it back and I'll refund. I have no issue with that. And I'm going to respond right now.
He probably had a little time to sober up from his last thing. I mean, let's face it. He tried to sell you a POS and he realized you're not going to fall over. He tried the bullying technique. It's an instant response. He probably talked to some
of his buddies who were like, dude, you're going to get fucked. That's probably what happened. Yeah. Like, you have no idea. The thing is, the reason people don't like eBay anymore is because they always side with the buyer. I mean, they want to keep commerce going. You don't side with the seller. You side with the buyer. You need those people. Okay? There's plenty of sellers on eBay to go around. So
exactly.
I'm sending him a message right now. It says, send me your address. I will get it out to you as soon as possible. Probably tomorrow. I can't even read my own writing because I'm so fucking mad. I'm going to stop by my local guitar store and get materials to ship it.
I would stop by, see if you go to Good Time all the time. I'd get one of those guitar boxes.
I have an appointment at Good Time tomorrow.
Yeah. I'd get one of those guitar boxes, those kind of almost triangular things, throw it in one of those and ship it out.
Yeah. Pat will take care of me. He knows.
Put that piss smelling shitty freaking stuff right back in that bag.
No, Jim, as soon as I got done with that video, I literally walked it out to the garbage, opened the bag and let it all fall in there and just said, fuck it. And walked away. Like, this, enough is enough. That's just totally unacceptable.
Yeah. It's just insane. Well, let's go on happier notes now.
And I said, I'm going to stop by my local guitar store and get materials to ship it tomorrow. I'll keep you in the loop. I might even take some time off work to accomplish this for him because I'm a nice fucking guy. And for the record, I would not. I did mention in the group that I would light this guitar on fire if it ended up staying in my possession. I would not have done that. Okay, cooler heads prevail. After you think about things, after you say them, obviously, like Jared Dines, I have recanted what I originally said. This guitar, had it ended up staying in my possession, thank fucking God it's not. I would have donated it to. There's a local charity that gives musical instruments out to people at Christmas time, and Pat runs a donation thing through Good Time Music Store, where he has in the past. I don't know if he's doing it this year. I'm pretty sure he probably is. They fix them up before they send them out. So I would have brought it in and let him take care of it and just donate it and be done with it.
Yep.
So
we had a couple of people who brought up pedals today in the group. Shifting a little bit. So Ramjorn. I hope I'm not mispronouncing your name, and I apologize because I'm sure I butchered it. And feel free to butcher mine. Ramjorn asked, topic, is anyone else shocked and annoyed, which I am, by the positive reaction to the release of what are essentially the same pedals year after year? I don't even think you have to wait till year after year to find out that companies are doing this. And along with that, because I kind of want to throw these in together, Dan Kish asked, anyone else here not big into pedals? I like my old processor. I've had it for almost 20 years. When it comes to pedals, there's only two that I feel I must have. And these would be my HM2 heavy metal for sweet Swedish death metal sound and the Pussy Melter. Cool. That's got to be a new one in his arsenal. I love that Steel Panther 80s hair metal sound, and it's a hilarious pedal. I've actually thought about getting that, and then I said, I'm sure I can get something else that'll sound familiar or similar. But I do need that 80s hair metal thing for a couple of songs that I do with the band I'm in. All that said, first let's tackle the first half of that, and that's companies keep coming out with the same fucking pedal over and over. I mean, I'm kind of guilty in that I bought the Paisley Deluxe, but I bought the Paisley Deluxe, which is the Paisley with an underdog. And Brian literally came out and said, the reason I'm doing the Paisley Deluxe the way it is that I'm not going to do the underdog again. That was put out for a specific reason. And it was for a friend who was needing cancer treatments, and they raised money. He got I think he paid for parts on that, but, distribution costs and such.
Yeah.
All the proceeds went to the friend that was, whether the friend is still around or not. He has never mentioned, but that I can remember. But so that makes sense. It's a different pedal. It's the same pedal, but they added a little money because I'm getting two pedals. I got the underdog and the Paisley, which I really like. But I don't think I'd buy the Paisley Deluxe 2, because now we put the jacks on the side. Now we're going to put them on the bottom. Now we're going to put them on the top. I mean, it's like...
Well, there usually is also some updating going on with like the bypass circuit and stuff in his pedals. I know he went from the regular triple pull double throw switch to a relay based true bypass switch. So that may be part of the reason why he's gone to the newer model.
Right. I don't think what, and of course, Rob John, if I'm misunderstanding you, please correct us. But I don't think what Rom is asking was that. I think it's like every time we turn around, this is the very best that we've ever. Now this is the very best one. No, wait a minute.
You're talking about
this
yeah. Okay, so
is the very best one we've ever seen.
I was kind of
this
blacking out
thing, right? This I know you were typing. This whole hype thing is it's just getting to me because we're seeing this incredible surgence of every day another company is coming out with the same effing pedal the other company came out with.
This Wampler was talking about it. He talked about it on Chasing Tone the other day. He's saying like part of the reason why he's not doing 50 fucking drive pedals anymore is because literally every day a new drive pedal comes out. It's really cool. Right. And the market's super oversaturated.
It's got to be.
I mean, when you watch, here's my example. When you watch that pedal show, and they say, "Hey, we're gonna do the Dumble overdrive shootout, all the Dumble inspired overdrive pedals," and they have 8 of them on a fucking board.
And that's only like this tiny fraction.
Yeah,
of all of them that are out there.
8 of the same fucking concept, right? Now, granted, I could see 3. So you'd have like, here's the one you use with, with going direct into the board. And here's the one you use, I get it. Like there should be some variety, but 8? I mean, that's a pretty specific fucking thing.
Yeah. And so you're looking at this, I believe, market saturation, especially in the drive and distortion type pedals.
Well, and the thing is, a lot of these companies, these boutique companies and builders, no disrespect to any of them. I'm friends with quite a few actually. Listen, these guys are not motivated to make a lot of money. Most of them have day jobs. Okay, they're doing it because they have like a little side gig. They might make a little bit of money doing it, and they have fun doing it, and that's cool. That's always been a thing. That's always existed. Maybe not, with the branding and the professional level of pedal that you can buy from some guy operating out of his garage right now. But yes, like you said, it's market saturation. If you're really into gear, you know about every obscure, creepy, little weird pedal company there is. The ones that rise to the top, a lot of times they become bigger companies. Perfect example is Wampler, Keeley's company, Zvex. Some of these companies have a pretty loyal following, and that's how they get there. Nothing wrong with that. But
Oh,
I just don't like the fact, like, here's a classic example, Tube Screamers, right? I have a Tube Screamer Mini in my hand right now. There are at least 5 Tube Screamers probably being produced now by Ibanez. I believe they're still doing the TS. So they have the TS-808 hand-wired. I think they have another TS-808. They have a TS-9. I think they still do the TS-9DX. That's 4. And then the TS Mini, right?
yeah.
And they have the one with the new tube. So that's 6. Think about that. That company is riding that wave hard. All right? They have 6 or 7 different designs of Tube Screamer at any given time. It's mind-boggling to me. That's just them. That's
Then
not.
how many clones are there?
Some
That's what
companies
you were
have more
getting
than
at next.
one.
Yeah.
Earthquaker has more than one.
It's mind-boggling. And folks, if you hear me sniffling, I've got a cold, so
Yeah,
I
just pretend
apologize.
it's me. I'm usually the one doing it.
Yeah, but there's this incredible need for some reason of people to. This is the thing. Somebody said, "Well, it's not $200 more for the next one." No, but it's $200 to go get it, because you're going to trade. You get one. You're like, "Oh man, this is the best thing since sliced bread." YouTuber Pete Thorne told me that. I put it on my pedal board. Oh yeah, and then you go, I just demoed this one and it's even better than the last one. Shit. Now I got to go take that back to the store. Now I got to get that one because Pete Thorne told me it was better. Because Phil McKnight told me it was better.
And that's
because,
and that's where we're getting into problems here too, because it's not about better. There is no such thing. It's totally subjective.
Right.
I don't like Tube Screamers. Everybody, listen. I don't fucking like Tube Screamers. I don't. I've had
how come
2
that one's
or
not
3.
in the mail to me?
I fucking know, Jim.
I know. Why is the other one sitting there in a box?
Why is that Blues Drive over there in the corner? No.
Because we both have live.
So wait. No, let me explain. I've had 3 of these in my guitar playing career. 3 of these specifically.
And you've never liked them.
And I bought them for different purposes. There is one reason to own a Tube Screamer. And I know I'm going to get shit on. There's going to be somebody in the group who's like, you're wrong. Listen, for me, there is one reason to own a Tube Screamer. And that's if you're going to have, exactly, you want to have a low roll-off and a mid-range hump. No other fucking reason to have a Tube Screamer. I don't even need a gain control on one.
And what kind of guitar does it work best with?
I think anything that it's more about the amp, really.
Yeah.
So
well, I think it's more about. I think Gibsons have enough mid-range. Although I'm not saying that a Tube Screamer is not necessary.
Yeah, it's a lot harder to get like a Les Paul to sound good with a Tube Screamer. It sure as fuck is. Right,
but whereas with a single coil Stratocaster G&L. So anyway, so yeah, I think that, and I'm not blaming. Believe me, I'm not putting down Pete Thorne or Phil McKnight or anybody like that. They're doing what they're supposed to do.
Like they review pedals and they talk about them.
They're not telling you to go out there buy the newest one.
No, I've never really seen like anybody say like you should go buy this pedal. Like
you should get rid of everything you have and buy this one.
You
pedal,
only need this, you know.
But I mean, you watch.
Well, you could say that about a Helix, I suppose.
Yeah, but if you, now that's a different thing altogether. But if you, and honestly, I'm thinking next year I might go in that direction and make it a lot easier on myself. I don't have to bring a board with all this stuff and a power supply. But anyway.
Oh no, it's still fucking heavy, Jim. Trust me, the Helix is really heavy.
Yeah, but it's a thing that doesn't have a whole bunch of every moving part, every wire that's in there.
That's true.
That's
true. It's a point of failure, right?
Right.
I think you're getting into like infinitesimal level points of failure, but yes, I agree that there is some convenience to the fact that you don't have to worry about like stepping on a cable or something.
There is. Plus, I can leave mine here and take the Helix on the gigs. But anyway,
right.
Because mine would be more for this. What we do now is a podcast.
Yep.
But anyway, so what was I getting to? Oh yeah.
Ow.
I
hit my head on the microphone, folks.
Right. So right now, my go-to pedal that's almost always on is my Paisley Deluxe.
Yeah, I can believe that.
If I'm not playing a clean tone, Paisley Deluxe is on. I either got the Paisley side or the Underdog side. And most of the time, folks, it's the underdog side. Sometimes I use the Paisley side to boost the underdog side.
Yeah. I can't wait till I get my King of Tone.
What's that?
I can't wait till I get my King of Tone.
Yeah.
It is officially over a 2-year wait at this point. It's 2 days over a 2-year wait.
So for those interested, a small break first, a small ad break. Don't forget, we are sponsored by Nick Bongers at Great Lakes
Guitar
Pickups Design. So please check them out. And the other thing is, we are about to do our 1-year recording. We actually are recording today. We used to take 1 or 2 weeks to get these things out. We've gotten where David literally
tonight is a very special night, Jim.
He finishes mixing this while we discuss stuff afterwards and laugh, and then he puts it up right away.
Yeah,
so you guys get these things fresh. They're fresher than
15 minutes. 15 minutes after we finished recording, it's up.
Yeah. So we've really streamlined that process. It's come a long ways. Because of that, next week we're going to record our 1 year, and we want some ideas. I was thinking maybe bring some people.
We need to have listen. We're going to have an extravaganza next week. We're going to do a Google Hangout or something.
Yeah.
And we're going to have whoever wants to join from the Facebook group. If you listen to this episode, you're going to hear. Look for the details in the Facebook group a couple days before we do it, and then when we do it, just hop on. We'll be on for a couple hours. We'll do like a 2-hour, 3-hour thing. We'll sit and we'll drink
a couple beers.
You can have beers. We can have drunk episode too.
Virtual hangout. Yeah. Well, I can only have 2. If I have a third one, you guys would not want to hear what.
Oh my God. I can tell you all that it is extremely entertaining, but also shocking and frightening.
Well, I was in the Navy for a long time. So.
Yes,
and I've been to places that you guys would it would curl your hairs. Anyway, and situations.
Oh, let's not talk about that one.
Yes, band wise and otherwise. So, moving right along, though, let's get back into the thing. So as far as my pedal, my go-to pedal, my need-to-have pedal, if I didn't have any of the other ones, except for my tuner. I think anybody who doesn't have a tuner, at least some type of tuner, is being silly. And that would be my Paisley Overdrive right now, or my Paisley Deluxe. What would be your go-to pedal, the one you have to have, no matter what? You go out there, you've got to have this pedal.
If you told me I could only have one pedal.
Yep, just one.
Just one. You know what I'm going to say.
But you get to say the Helix. You cannot say the Helix.
No, I'm not going to say the fucking Helix. Hell no.
I know what you're going to say.
I'm the Analog Man Sunface. Yeah. Dude, I'm fortunate as hell that I started this show the moment I found the pedal that's probably going to have to be buried with me.
Yeah.
Granted, I don't use it all the time. I don't. Honestly, lately, I've just been plugging straight into an amp. I mean, or I'm using the Helix to do this, basically the same thing. Although, tonight, I created a tone using a Mark IV amp, some impulse response, I think it's a Mesa Boogie 4x12 with Celestion V30s, and tape delay, stereo.
Oh.
And an EQ. And I sound like Steve Vai. And I threw on a DS1 in the beginning, and I tweaked the settings, and I got it just like Vai with the DS1. So
really,
yeah,
that'd be an interesting demo.
Yeah, so I know that people. So here's the thing: if I was to do this as a demo, people are gonna say it doesn't sound like Vai on, For the Love of God or whatever.
For the Love of God, or it doesn't sound like Vai.
But it sounds like Vai if you were sitting if you were going to sit in the fucking room with him. This is what Vai sounds like. Like that's what I go for. So, now I've never sat in the room with Vai, so that could be a totally different experience than what I'm anticipating. But I will tell you this: Vai sound.
I went to a guitar clinic that he did a long time ago, and I can't remember when it was.
Vai sound is not what people think it is. everybody's like, oh, it's the DS1 and it's the 3 DD3s he runs and the, his signature overdrive or whatever and the legacies. That's what does it all. Listen,
Right.
95% of his sound can be had with a fucking Ibanez RG plugged into a Marshall DSL 50. I'm dead serious. Like, honestly, the guitar has so much impact on his sound, specifically that basswood body and the richness and the full range of harmonics that it produces. It's much the shape and the shut up. Shut the fuck up.
I'm pointing at my basswood RG that's behind me.
Well, Jim, I probably should mention it. I went to Guitar Center today and I played a fucking RG 550 Genesis and I played 2 Gem Juniors.
Which one did you like the best?
I think we should let the audience decide. No,
they should decide what you like the best.
The AZ. No, no, they had an AZ there too, and I played that for a minute. But so the Genesis has better pickups, obviously, than a Gem Junior. A Gem Junior is shit. It's a shitty guitar. I'm going to be straightforward with you right now.
Well, when you say shitty guitar, be specific.
It doesn't fit what I'm doing in the sense that, look, it's a mahogany body, and so is my my blue S500, and it has the same quality of timbre in the upper register that S500 does, which works well for a Strat, but for a double humbucker equipped guitar, it doesn't work so well.
Yeah,
they're slightly heavy guitar. They're not any heavier than my others. And as you know, I've got some 11-pound or 10-pound Strats or some shit. They're really, really heavy. They're as heavy as a Les Paul. So I would be totally comfortable buying one. The bridge sucks on the Gem. The bridge is a garbage version, Ibanez licensed Floyd. It has no replacement knife edges available for it. So once you wear out the knife edge, you're done. Insert new tremolo. So that's okay. I guess I can live with that. The reason I'm looking at these 2 guitars in particular is they have pick guards. So, I have an appointment with Pat at Good Time Music tomorrow to help me pick out a guitar that can accommodate what I need to do with it. Now, all things being equal, I'm leaning towards a Gem Junior because I like the neck better. It's a Wizard 3. The Genesis neck is what they call a Super Wizard.
Oh, it's not the Wizard 2 or the Wizard 3?
Oh, no. Let me explain to you the difference in dimensions, okay? I believe the Wizard 3 is 22 millimeters thick. The Super Wizard at the 12th fret is 17 millimeters thick.
Wow.
It is like a fucking piece of paper. Now, I get the allure, right? So when you play a Strat neck, right, it fits your hand. It's like putting a fist in your hand because it's a bigger neck.
Right.
When you play one of those giant Les Paul necks, it's like a tree trunk.
Yep.
Well, I could say some really gross stuff. I'm not going to.
Some old tellies are like that.
Yeah,
I've
never played an old telly that's
a lot
big.
of tellies.
I'll tell you what. I played a Les Paul the other day at friggin' Guitar Center. It was a let me see if I can find it. It was a.
I played
Epiphone.
a Telecaster. I want to say it was from the '60s, and that thing felt like I was playing a Louisville Slugger.
Well, I'm going to suggest this one to you because your Guitar Center probably has one.
Yep.
If I can find it, I'm going to tell you so you can go play it, and then you can tell me what you think of it. I believe it's a '60s reissue or something.
Yeah. They got one on the wall. I was looking at it. $4,000.
No.
1960.
Not a Gibson, an Epiphone, Jim.
Oh.
It has a push-pull boost on it. That I do know. Maybe it says
is it the
traditional Pro?
What's that?
Is it a traditional Pro?
Yeah, traditional Pro 2.
Probably, right?
Yeah.
Have you, yeah. Well, the one
I played one of those.
The one I picked up the other day, the neck was like a freaking. It was the biggest neck I've ever played, without a doubt.
Loved it.
I fucking hate that thing, dude. How can you fucking play that piece of shit?
Oh, it was awesome.
Was it satin?
Awesome.
Was the one you played satin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Satin neck. Traditional Pro 2.
I like the feel of the
big
neck.
fat neck.
Yeah, but it looked like it was covered in plastic.
Yeah, I knew that I'd have to take sandpaper to it.
Oh yeah, because I'm like looking at that satin finish. I'm like, this is hilarious. Like they really think somebody's gonna play this, you know?
Well, it's like my Strat. I know that once my Strat wears in a little bit, I'm going to have to take some sandpaper to the neck.
Well, so yeah, and I could see like that. That's not a modification, in my opinion. That's player preference.
Right.
It sucks because it's something you do that permanently alters the guitar, but at the same time, it's like, look, if you can't play it that way, you can't play it that way. I don't have excessively sweaty hands.
I don't have that problem with PRSs or Les Pauls.
It's because they use a different type of urethane. That's why.
Yeah. For some reason, the urethane on the back of the Strats tends to get sticky over time.
Right. So my S500, it's satin finish. The one that's right behind me that I'm pointing at, the blue one I have is not. I've never felt sticky at all on it.
Right.
The Ibanez AZ, which is supposed to be basically an unfinished neck, it's a baked maple. It gets oily as shit, man. Like it legitimately slowed me down. I was like, what the fuck? But I have that Shengzhe, which is like the cheapest urethane known to man. No problem. I can play it, no problem. 2-3 hours sweating, no big deal.
Wow.
So
now, yeah. So my CE has a satin neck. So that bolt-on maple satin neck, I've never ever gotten anything. I think the one I'm getting, I'll have to check again. But I think the neck on the Stratocaster I purchased is a satin neck. I think. It's a Mexican standard from 2008.
If it's like the Jimmy Vaughn satin finish, it's not really a satin finish. It's it's like a semi-gloss thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, my S500
which might not be as bad.
The S500 satin finish that I have is like a true satin. It almost feels like there's no finish on it.
My deluxe American Strat has it's a beefy neck, and it has a much more. It's got
a deluxe. What year is that? Do you know?
2000.
Yeah. Okay. I had a 99.
Deluxe
same guitar. Standard. Yeah. So
yeah, it's the same guitar. It's nice, but it tended to get sticky. And my uncle told me.
I just think I think it's kind of funny. You think that's chunky, man, compared to this fucker. Like that's nothing.
Oh yeah.
And so. Could you imagine when I'm shopping for guitars this weekend? I played the Epiphone Les Paul Traditional Pro, and then played an Ibanez RG.
Well, you got to remember. Okay, so when I bought my Strat, that was the first Strat I ever bought. I'd never owned a Stratocaster before that.
Right.
And so when I purchased it, I wanted something that was truly, it's got the maple neck and it's got the maple fretboard.
Sure.
It is a possibility that because I bought it used. I got it for $500. It is a possibility, although I don't know 100%.
They did maple necks though. It's probably not likely. So
yeah.
It's probably original. Like you only see that really like crazy part swapping shit. I don't see it frequently. When you see it, it's like usually guitars from pre-1970. So
right.
So most of what they make is pretty standard right now. Anyway, I mean, unless you get to the artist series and stuff like that, where you got V shapes and things like that going on. But yeah, I don't know. I think the shape of the neck is the bigger issue with the Ibanez thing. So they're thin, but they're D. They're very like they feel like a D or what they would consider a U, I guess, a hard D.
U shape. They call it a U, yeah,
a hard D,
but it's a shallow U,
a hard D,
yeah, hard D. So if you want to put your hands on you want to get your hands around a hard D.
Personally, I like a soft V, but that's kind of my thing. And you can ask my wife about it; she'll tell you that I prefer soft V necks.
So anyway,
like the Clapton, get the fucking mind out of the gutter.
You guys have your minds in the gutter. Yeah, filthy bastards. All right, so moving along.
I had to. I've been working on that joke for a really long time, Jim. I had to do it.
It's a good one. So, yeah, I've been actually playing this Ibanez, the RG that I have.
Yeah.
So for folks that don't know, I have an RG. I'll put up a picture of it.
It's a very special RG.
It's an RG 420.
Well, I know why you're playing it right now, Jim, because it's the season.
I bought it. Yeah, I bought it. Yeah, I bought it. So, folks, it's got a. I'll put up a picture, but there's a
really
spider web in it, but
embarrassing
it's not.
spider web.
It is not a spider web like it's painted. This
No,
thing
it's
is
etched.
deeply
Yeah.
grooved, and it came that way. And when I say deeply grooved, that thing's a good, what, eighth of an inch?
Yeah, they
quarter
use
of an
an
inch deep.
eighth of an inch router bit on this fucker.
Yeah, it's no bullshit. Basswood body, maple neck. I'm not sure what the fretboard is. I'd have to look it up.
It's rosewood.
But I bought this thing, geez, almost 10 years ago for $300, and it's still $300.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's maintained its value, and I'm not getting rid of it. But Floyd Rose, well, actually, Ibanez's own. What do you call it?
They're double locking bridge, right? They don't even they call it a locking tremolo. They don't even have like a name for it. It's just a locking tremolo.
Oh yeah, Ibanez does it itself. What Ibanez did that's really a big boost is those of you who have had a locking trem usually have screws, and you lock the screws down. Ibanez put this little like roller so that you can adjust it with 1 point rather than adjusting it like 2 points. And supposedly it's more stable that way. Has some different spring systems. If you open up the back of one,
they got a whole bunch of different shit. So the Edge tremolo is very, very similar to a modern Floyd Rose. The things that I like about them is they're comfortable. Like a Floyd Rose, if you've ever played one, they're not exactly the most comfortable bridge in the world. The new Pro one, I think it's the Pro 2 or whatever, is a lot more comfortable than the original was.
Yeah.
So
well, my SE has a Floyd Rose. Mm. But it's not the 2, so it's not the super comfortable. I know what you're talking about.
So yeah, that's why I was really excited to get that ZR trem on the guitar that I'm about to ship back, and my smile just got really fucking wide.
It's terrible, isn't it?
Yes, it's fucking wonderful. Jim, I'm celebrating. Like, I feel like I should get off the podcast and go to the bar and have a drink, even though I don't drink. Anyway, so I was excited because I was like, I know that bridge is going to be really comfortable because it's an Ibanez bridge.
Right.
They put a lot of thought and effort into the little things like that. I have heard it said over the last couple of days as I'm doing research that many people prefer Ibanez trems to Floyd's, like actual dyed-in-the-wool Shaler Floyd's. Now, if I buy one of those Gem Juniors and in a year or so when I figure out what I'm doing with it, if I'm going to replace the tremolo, guess what I'm doing? I'm not putting a fucking Ibanez trem in it because they're expensive. I'll put a Shaler in there or something. I mean, you can do a full Shaler tremolo system for like $100, or $150. Like, it's not even that bad. Not compared to, an Ibanez trem that'll cost you $200 used. And that's because the parts are all proprietary. Hey, you lost a pad for your locking nut? $10.
$10. Yeah. And you can't even go to your local guitar shop to get it unless they carry Ibanez parts.
There's a little bit of So some of their nuts will accept the pads from the Floyd Rose systems. From my understanding, most of them will. If you get a pad that's way too small, what'll happen is you'll pull the guitar sharp when you lock it down, which could be dealt with by the fine tuners. But
said nuts.
Oh, good God!
All right, so
it was funny when I said hard D and soft V because those are
actual
guitar things, Jim.
Yeah, I just got a friend request from Jade Hawkins.
Oh my God!
And she's obviously real because she said her nude photos are here.
I'm telling you right now, Jim gets more like solicitations from hookers through his Facebook account than anyone I've ever seen.
I didn't
even know this existed.
It's because I always have that one friend that's a freaking moron that actually friends these idiots.
And by anyone I've ever seen, what I actually mean is, I didn't know there were hookers on Facebook. I didn't. So Jim gets them, and no one else I know does.
Her private video is here.
Oh my God.
Her sex photos are here.
Oh, her sex photos are there. How about that?
Do I know you? Because you look like you could be my next boyfriend. Well, I was just thinking.
Wow. She just assumed your gender, Jim.
I know it.
That's bullshit.
I'm so hot. So anyway,
Oh,
moving right along. My SG is not getting as much use as it should.
Jim, don't get out your credit card. What are you doing?
What? I just paid for full access to that. Yep.
Ooh.
Oh
my God! No, Jim did not get out his credit card. I'm just abusing him because I know,
kidding. And I am kidding too.
There is an implication with the audience that when we do a podcast, you can't see us, and so I can make up things that Jim's doing in case you weren't aware.
Right, because I can sit here in my underwear. So anyway, which I'm not, folks. I am wearing shorts. So
this is why I can't stand up during the podcast.
Yeah, we're like. What was that? What was that Will Ferrell movie when he was a spot or not a sports podcast or not a sportscaster?
Oh, Anchorman.
Anchorman, yeah, it was an Anchorman. Yeah, that's what he was.
All right.
So
one more thing before we go on. One more thing because we're talking about.
Let's do one more thing. What are we going to talk about?
I have a confession for the audience.
Yes.
Regularly, we get about halfway through an episode, and you will hear the sound of like a pencil rolling against the table or something like that. And what that is actually me taking off my belt during the podcast. I have been so successful at it until recently that Jim did not know I had been doing it for like 4 months. Moving on.
So I have one more item that I posted.
Oh, we don't need to talk about this.
So, well, no, this is a good one. I posted this. This is a guitar that I saw at Guitar Center because I put some. So last week, if you listened, those of you who want to listen back, I mentioned a Telecaster. I took some close-ups because I was sure that I saw this. It was a Chinese modern player, and it was.
Yes. It is a Chinese modern player. I was confused about what Jim was telling me the guitar was, and I thought he was trying to tell me it was like some 60s player guitar or something.
Yeah, no.
And then when I realized it was a modern player, I was like, no, that's Chinese.
Yeah. The new modern players, they got, it's so hard to figure out the series. Like, I think there's a modern player that's Chinese, but there's a something player that's Mexican now.
So here's the deal. There is an American professional line, but everything else comes from wherever the fuck.
And elite.
And where everything else comes from, whatever the fuck they want. Because Fender is basically breaking down the lines between the production of Mexico, China, Japan. Because for those of you who didn't know, there were still some guitars being produced in Japan.
Yes.
A very small, limited number.
Last year or this year?
Oh gosh, I don't think it was that. I mean, I don't know. I thought it was like really recent, like last year, this year. But it's possible that they went away 3 or 4 years ago. But I know that like some of the 60s reissue, 70s reissue type guitars were being produced in Japan still. And not the whole run, from my understanding. Like some of them were being produced here, and some of them were being produced there. That's my understanding. Now I don't know if that's true or not. This is just things I've read. I don't go to the store and look up their skirts to find out when they were made or where they were made. So
while I was there, I took some pictures. There's some really, I mean, if you flip through my my post, there's some really good prices in there. That Dean, the Paul Reed Smith, the Gibson SG, the Ibanez. There's a Schecter in there that's really nice that I got a close up of. But there's this interesting guitar, folks, there that it may be sold because I may have talked somebody into buying it because I was going to buy it before I walked out. And I was going to get it just for a wall hanger because it's $80. And what it is, somebody took a Stratocaster
that fucking thing,
and they laser etched. They did a really good job.
They took a really good Stratocaster.
No, it was a shitty. It's a Squier Bullet.
Oh, I thought it was like one of the 80s Squires that came from Korea or not Korea, Japan or whatever.
No, it's a freaking Squier Bullet. And what they did, because the owner while I was there, not owner, but the manager while I was there, because I pointed out to him, I said, "Dude, this is awesome." And he goes, "Who took in this turd?"
Yeah.
And then they pointed out it was, I'll say his name because nobody knows him, Raphael. And I said, "Don't give Raphael shit for this. You're going to double your money, triple your money on this piece of shit." I said, because people will buy this to hang it on the wall. It's got Brian May's signature on it. Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix, Eric Clapton.
Never mind that they were all dead
Richard-
before Squire even existed as a guitar company.
Eddie Van Halen, Joe Walsh, Joe Perry, Rick Hammett. Some I can't read, but I got to tell you right now, I don't know if that one says Amy Grant or what, but I got to tell you because I've seen the signatures of these guys and different things. They did a good job of faking it. It's obvious that Stevie Ray Vaughan did not sign this Jimi Hendrix because there was no Fender Squire Bullet in the 60s and the 90s, but still.
Jim, that guitar's legit. That guitar's probably like a 57, and then they put a fucking Squire neck on it.
You know what they actually did? I bet you that they had, because I thought I saw a flux capacitor in the output.
Oh, fuck.
Yep. So was
it a Bumblebee flux capacitor?
Yeah, they tossed it down a set of stairs at 88 miles an hour, and it went through time.
Oh, shit.
And got 6-point trem. Yeah, they had a pile of these.
So this morning, I was driving to work, and I got my car up to 88 miles an hour, and it still didn't allow me to go back in time. I was fucking pissed.
Oh, and they had a Warlock there that actually, I got to tell you, I should have taken some.
Oh, that fucking Warlock, yeah.
It's gorgeous.
It's still a Warlock, though.
I'm just saying, if people wanted a Warlock, I mean, a real
it looks really good.
Warlock, that thing is in pristine
dude.
condition.
BC Rich is coming back, man. Like they got I don't know who owned them before, but somebody else bought them, and like they've revamped their line and stuff. They're putting out some of the best guitars they've put out in probably 10 years.
Yeah, I gotta agree.
I know that like from the mid 90s on, BC Rich was horrible. They were the butt of all of our jokes. Yep. I know I've talked about it on this show, but there's a Warlock that I played one time where the guy...
One with the tribal tattoo?
Oh, no, I played that one too.
That's awful.
No, this is worse. This is worse.
It makes a Fender Squire Bullet look like a Les Paul custom.
Everyone has seen the black Warlock with a rosewood neck and the maple neck and the rosewood fretboard, right? Yeah. Everybody has seen that, right? With a stop tail and all that.
Yep.
So this guy improved his by taking the bolts out, putting glue in the holes, and then putting the screws back in. He made his Warlock a set neck Warlock. Now, funny part is, there was glue coming out of the joint onto the neck while I was playing this thing. I'm looking at it, and there's actually glue sitting there that dried. While I'm playing, I'm going, well, that's some sloppy craftsmanship. And then I flipped it, and I realized, oh, no, it's a bolt-on. That's that fucker's fault.
All right, so I want to talk about one more thing before we go today, if we have some time. So another podcast had mentioned that there was no they were talking about the Gibson thing, the whole Gibson, the new 2019 lineup, and the pricing and all the other stuff. And I don't want to get too much into it, but I looked at the pricing and I did a comparison. And I want to put some for next week. I want to put some numbers together. But in reality, neither Gibson nor Fender have really raised their relative prices to the quote unquote cost of gas and cost of food and cost of living, really at all. Neither one of them. They're both been relatively the same as they were. The other thing, and they did point that out. But the other thing that they mentioned was that Fender and Gibson aren't in the same
they really aren't. They're not in competition with one another.
And
I'm not going to hide behind who they are. This is 60 Cycle Hump. They did some videos on YouTube. So if you want to go watch them, they're great videos.
Yeah.
The comment sections are hilarious.
3 or 4. Yeah.
And so what they're basically saying is that well, first off, they even admit that this is all clickbait. But what they're saying is that
so we may as well take advantage of it.
There's no advantage to saying that Gibson has gotten more expensive and they're out of the realm of affordability. However, what we need to take into concern when we're looking at these arguments is that, number one, the disparity between the middle class and the upper class has changed significantly. The middle class has less money than they ever have. and the
That's
upper
right.
class has more money than they ever have.
That's
So,
right.
For the average musician trying to buy a Les Paul Standard at what are they, $3,500 now?
They're in the $3,200 category.
Think about it. Like unless you're making $100,000 a year, that's really not an attainable thing.
Can I say something though, as a middle class person who's bought and sold and bought again
we both have
several guitars.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a gigging middle class musician,
you can afford it.
Your gig money is fine. You can afford it. You can pay for it with a year's worth of gig money.
Yeah.
And if you can't buy it in a year, then you're not gigging enough. Fuck it. You don't need that thing.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing I want to say. This is the big one. Let's say you're the weekend warrior that only wants to do two gigs a month, 12 gigs a year. That's $2,400, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can buy a Gibson Les Paul Classic or Gibson Les Paul Traditional. And guess what? Those two are the traditional Les Paul Standard. You get all these people going, oh, the dip switch and this and that and the other thing. That's the
they're
Gibson.
Doing the same. They're doing the same thing that Fender's doing right now. Is they're rebranding the line.
Elite. That's right. And they shouldn't call it the Standard anymore.
No,
they should call that
the Elite
or something. They should give it a new name because honestly, that is not the Standard. The traditional and the classics, those are the Standard, and they are sub $2,000. I mean, sub $3,000. And you can find them. Like if you get last year's model, and don't tell me you can't find any last year's models in your area. Because even my area, it's got shit for selections.
You can find them. You got to look around. You might have to go to the shitty Guitar Center on the ugly side of town, but
you can find them under $2,000.
Yeah.
So you're talking about a year's worth of your $100 gigs twice a month. You're not working that hard. Don't hand me your line of crap. And but here's the thing that I do agree with them on. Okay. Somebody who goes out to buy a Strat is not out looking at a Les Paul. They're not comparing Strats to Les Pauls. You know what they're comparing Strats to? Ibanez SGs, SGs, yeah. Ibanez S series, Ibanez RGs, Schecter, Shure. If you're up in that
double cutaway offset guitars.
Paul Reed Smith, that's right. And honestly, that market is more flooded than the glue set neck single cut market.
Yeah, right now it is for sure. And that has to. So this is what I want to talk about. I'll give you the hypothetical situation for the other side of the video argument, right? Where they're talking about how, when you go if I go into a store right now, and I'm thinking to myself, man, I really want a Les Paul. And I'm looking, I'm in the store and I'm like, I need a Les Paul. Like, I'm an experienced player. I play every weekend. I'm not going in that store and thinking, geez, that Les Paul is $3,300. Like, I'll just buy a Fender Strat. That's not the way this works. Like, once you get to that level where you're buying guitars that expensive, that's not what you're doing at all. You're going in the store and you're saying, I need a set neck guitar with two humbuckers and maybe a carved maple top. So now you're going to look at things like an ESP Eclipse or EC1000 or whatever. That's where that goes. Okay, so
that's right,
and it goes both ways. You're not going into the store buying a Strat because or buying a Les Paul because the Strat is not expensive enough for you. That's not the way that works.
Exactly.
All of these companies have options at the price points.
That's right. And that's the thing. So the Les Paul has it used to be the faded. It's called the Tribute line. Then you've got your classics and your traditionals. I don't remember which one's a little less expensive than the other, but they're in the same category.
Yeah.
And then you've got your standard. If you go, if you're going to look at the bargain version of that, you're looking at the PRS single cut SE, the SEs. You've got Epiphones, and you've got some stuff. I mean, somebody's got there is going to say Harley Benton. If you want to buy something online that you've never touched, sure, go ahead. I'm not doing it.
Well, I just did it, and fuck that.
Yeah, you did it twice. You fucked that twice.
Well, no, I don't feel like I got burned as bad the first time. Well, I don't
the
feel like I got burned.
Is not a burn.
I didn't get burned on the Shingse. I knew what I was getting myself into on that one. On this one, I got burned. And this is the first time I've ever been burned buying something online from eBay or Reverb.
Yep. So, but if you're going in to buy a Les Paul, you know what you're getting into. You know the money you want to spend. You know that you're going to be upwards of $3,000. Is it too much money? Well, then look at something else. I mean, you wouldn't be looking at it if you didn't have $3,000, $4,000 in your pocket, or $2,000 in your pocket. The next, you know, and when it comes to Fender, you know, really, Strat or Tele, and nobody can tell me, because let's face it, the what do they call it, the Divine Trio, or the you know, is the Divine
Holy Trinity.
Yeah, the Holy
Fender,
Trinity. Thank you.
Gibson, and now PRS.
Well, yeah, but the Holy Trinity. If you got 3 guitars in your arsenal, what have you probably got?
A Tele, a Strat, and a Les Paul.
There you go. You don't even. The other companies don't even come into view.
Right.
Paul Reed Smith, unfortunately, is still sitting out there in the periphery, as is Ibanez.
Another 10 years.
Yeah. So we're looking at a time where companies can come in, but you know, just like Warlock, BC Rich was an up and coming killer guitar in the 70s. I mean, that thing was awesome, and people loved them. And then I don't remember what happened, but financial troubles. I do. I know what happened. You know what happened in the okay, so those of you not old enough, the mid 70s, early 80s killed us. There were a couple things financially in the world. You couldn't find a job. That was one thing, because all of the labor work, you know, America used to make stuff.
Yeah, there was no manufacturing was dying in the 80s.
Right. And we were going into a new paradigm. And while that paradigm shifted, I know you guys can't imagine this, but you didn't own the phone in your home.
Yeah,
AT&T did.
Yep, you leased it from them.
You rented it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like your cable box, right? So that was a paradigm shift in and of itself in 1984 when Mom Bell got broken up. So what I'm saying is that also you probably can't imagine this either. Do you know what mortgage rates were back then? 12%, 14%. That was the norm. Ask mom and dad what they paid for interest rates.
And it wasn't an adjustable rate mortgage either.
No, that was 14% or 12%. That was your mortgage. Now, admittedly, your home, my parents, I remember my father looking at a house, $10,000.
Yeah.
That was around 1970.
You can't touch a house. You can't touch a house where I'm at right now for under $200,000. You just can't. Yeah. Not one you want to live in.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough that my home, my little house here in this little quaint neighborhood that I live in, was only 165. But I got to tell you, the houses literally.
But you're in Virginia Beach, like you're on beachfront property, pretty much wherever you are.
No, I'm 20 miles from the beach.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like you're in an ocean area, like that's you're going to pay through the nose.
Oh yeah,
you go inland to the other side of Virginia, and you're going to get a house for like $20,000-$30,000 in some places.
Well,
in the backwoods,
under 100,000. There's some that are under 100,000. But I'll tell you, you go one street over, and they're $350,000-$400,000.
No, I'm not talking about like in your area. I'm saying like on the other side of Virginia, like on the western side of Virginia or whatever. There are some really inexpensive places.
Oh yeah, but they're clapboard houses, literally.
Yeah, they're freaking. It's like a shack.
But my point is, so back then when a guitar was like, I remember buying my Flying V2. I've told the story many times. I bought that for $500. $500, 1982.
That's
go
expensive.
Try to find it. Go try to find a Flying V for $500 these days. That is an actual Gibson. Yeah. Brand new off the shelf.
Good luck with that.
Oh, wait.
You might find it faded.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And you may find a faded for $500 off the shelf, but not a carved mahogany body, maple cap, all that
monstrosity like a Flying V2 or whatever the hell it is.
Hey, they go for anywhere between $3,000 and $4,000.
Well, yeah, but so does anything else from Gibson from that period.
Yeah. But all I'm
I
saying
could buy
is that,
Jim. Here's my litmus test. Sorry, I got to get my comedy bit in here. I could buy a Gibson Marauder for $3 or $4 grand.
yeah,
Put it in the same category because the Gibson Marauder is shit as far as I'm concerned. So
yeah. I remember when gas pumps had to be changed. Does anybody know why they got the 0.9 at the end of that thing? Remember when gas pumps had to be changed because they couldn't bill above $1. They weren't built to do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I know some people remember the early 90s when the price of gas was under $1.
Memories.
Like the corners of my mind. And that's the thing. How much do you pay for a gallon of milk versus then, so on and so forth. So my point is, if you're going to go look at a Gibson, you're looking at it for a Gibson. You're in the Gibson
mindset, or you're in the Fender mindset. It's one or the other, not both.
That's right.
You're not just going to the store like, I got $3 grand, I'm gonna buy something. It's not how it works.
Or you've got that money and you're going after your Holy Trinity.
Right. So in my
now, what's your take on that?
No, I agree. I just think that making the assumption that because the rate of inflation is this, that somehow this is where the prices should be is it's a little nearsighted in the fact that look, people don't make the same amounts of money they did. For one thing, the population has shifted. We have more people in the workforce than we did then, so there's less money to go around. Which disposable income? My parents had disposable income when my dad was working when he wasn't in between jobs. My wife and I, there is no disposable income. I don't even know what the fuck that is. And basically, like between her and I, what we make right now with our two jobs is equivalent to what my dad was making when he was in his mid-40s. So that's how much inflation has happened. Like, go from actually having disposable income and a hefty retirement fund and all that stuff to having basically what you can put on the table,
Right. Yep. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
So I'm just saying, like, there's not as much income unless you are somehow supplying your gear habit through actually playing to go around and buy some of these really expensive things. But that doesn't mean the Gibson doesn't produce a guitar for you. They do. Right. But the thing is, my complaint is that the low end of the Gibson line has severe quality issues and really doesn't live up to the high end of the Gibson line.
And it should, and they shouldn't do that.
No.
We've talked about that, and I agree wholeheartedly. There's no excuse for a $1,000 instrument, I don't care what company it comes from, to be shit these days. It should always be of the highest
really,
quality.
really good. Especially when you've got your competition is people like Ibanez. I mean, they're not necessarily competing, you know what I mean? But
Schecter.
If I'm looking at, I'm going to compare the quality of $1,000 guitars to determine what I'm going to buy, which you might do that. You might actually say, I got $1,000 to burn. I want a new guitar. I don't know what I want. You go to the store and you look at a couple different ones and kind of get a feel for what you're looking at. You're going to sit there and you're going to go, I can buy $1,000 Ibanez, or I could buy $1,000 Gibson Faded. Like, what the fuck? Why would you ever do that to yourself?
Yep.
That's where I'm at. Like, I don't think so. My criticisms of Gibson are that they don't really have a good low end. They need to figure it out. If that means they need to reduce the features on their low end guitars, then they need to do that. If that means
that's what
they need,
that's why I'm getting that candy apple red Strat. I don't think that there's any reason that I should pay $800 for the same thing that I'm going to get for $500.
Well,
about $450.
So
I'm not talking about going to the Mexican or American. I'm talking about staying in the Mexican lines and going down.
Yeah,
$800 is the top end of those import lines.
Yeah, I mean, unless it's something super specific you're after, it's not worth it. I don't know. I'm just like I'm fried at this point. I think we've said all we can say about this. Really, it's just go watch the videos. Give 60 Cycle Hum some credit for putting together some decent material. Actually,
definitely.
They put a lot together, a lot of good material. I know it's not their show is not everybody's cup of tea, but when they do stuff like this, it can be enlightening. Because Steve is basically a scientist, so he put all the math together, and it's really entertaining to watch when he talks about the comparisons between this and that. And I don't want them to feel like we're stealing their thing. We actually kind of have a little different opinion on it. In fact, I think I've even commented as the show on those videos, if you look down in the comments. But yeah, I agree and disagree in different ways, and I think you basically said the same thing, Jim. So
yeah, I think that the only thing that I would disagree with is that there is this misnomer that Fender is inexpensive, because the thing is that Fender goes ahead and says, hey, you know what? Our import line is Fender too. And it's not.
No.
The Mexican guitars.
Well, no, actually, I would disagree completely. I would say Fender has decided that an import is good enough. And they decided a long time ago before everybody else did.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying that it's not fair to compare an import line. See what I mean? The import line to the American made line, and then say that's the price difference.
Sure,
you can't do that.
Sure. Except that Gibson could do the same thing, and they've elected not to.
They could. That I'm not saying they can't.
Well, that's why.
And that's an interesting. That might be a change that they make.
Well, that's what I've been asking. Is like, when are they going to start realizing that they have other options other than China for producing Epiphone now? Like,
right.
Is Epiphone really that shitty of a guitar that it's not a shitty guitar, but I'm just saying, like, if Epiphone is Gibson's Squire, then why don't they compete at the same price points? You got Epiphones going all the way up to $1,000.
Yeah. You've got, unfortunately, the $1,000 ones are the ones you would never buy, because those are signature guitars. But
oh no, they've done some. Like they did Elite Les Pauls and stuff from the Epiphone line at one point.
Yeah,
I would never buy them because I don't like the fucking headstock. Yeah. I mean, if anything, Gibson, standardize your goddamn designs. Nobody wants to see that fucking headstock anymore. That Epiphone headstock is an atrocity.
Yeah.
I don't care that you own Epiphone. I don't care that Epiphone used to be some popular guitar company. I'm just fucking sick of it. If you're going to put out a Les Paul, the headstock should be part of the goddamn design. Nobody's going to expect to see a Fender with a Telecaster head. Oh, shit, they did that, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
Never mind.
It was the Marvel Universe Ultimate
they can go
DC crossover.
You know what? They can stick the guitars in sand so the necks are straight up in the air and spin on them until they fucking get to the heel.
It was Bruce Wayne wearing Spider-Man outfit and Peter Parker wearing the Batman outfit guitars. That was what it was.
They made firewood is what they made. And you know what? I have evidence that they made firewood. Everybody got on board. Oh, look, these are fucking amazing. These are fucking great.
Yeah.
These are fucking wonderful. And then what fucking happened?
They
now
put
they're
them
on sale over at Sweetwater and closing them out. They won't even publish the fucking prices because they're ugly as sin.
Yep. They won't even. They can't give them away.
Nope.
These are awesome turds.
Alternate universe. Take your alternate universe and go live in it.
And as you can tell, David has definitely not enjoyed the release.
I had a brownie before this show, and the sugar is kicking in.
So yeah, I think that since we went over anyway already.
Oh yeah, This is an pre-anniversary extravaganza.
That's right.
We know we do everything big here. We have 2 episodes a week. I mean, come on,
right, guys. Where are you going to get this much content unless you go to CNN? And there you're going to get false news.
And there's plenty of people yelling on CNN too.
And let me tell you something. I'm not going to say anything about Fox either because that's another false news location. But anyway, I don't listen to American television. So or news at least, unless it's local, because I do want to know. They actually a few houses up from me exploded the other day. Exploded. Mm-hmm. It blew up. So if you look up Chesapeake, Virginia house explosion, you'll see it.
And you can see Jim standing in his window, creeping on the filming crew.
2 people were inside,
oh.
And yeah, they were both in critical condition. One has passed away.
That's terrible.
We're kind of praying for the other one. Anyway, all that sadness aside, the thing that bugs me about Gibson. Let's just stick with the Gibson thing, since it's clickbait. Is this they should just turn Epiphone. I understand that legally they had some line they drew and they stuff. Just turn the line of Epiphones that are Gibsons, the SGs and the Les Pauls and the Explorers. Just turn them into Gibsons. Just call them Gibson, and then put some moniker like Fender did underneath.
Right. Well, I would use Epiphone. I would continue to use Epiphone as the underbrand. Just change the price point. Say, I don't know who's making Epiphone right now. I don't follow Epiphone because I really don't give a fuck about Epiphone. I'll be completely honest with you. Look, I know there are people out there, like I remember when I was coming up in guitar and I would see people in these forums like, yeah, Epiphones are perfectly fine. Like they're really good guitars. And
there's a lot of good ones.
And you know what? That's probably true, but they're not for me because I don't want something with that fucking headstock. Like I'm serious, man. It really, really bothers me because Fender doesn't do that. Squier just has a different logo on it. It's the same fucking headstock, either 70 style or whatever. And then the same thing with the Telecasters. It's the same headstock. The Telecaster headstock and the Fender headstock are attached to the instrument, not the brand. And that's my problem. I don't buy a Gibson because it says Gibson on top. I buy the Gibson because I want an SG or I want a Les Paul. Okay? Doesn't matter what brand is on there. I'm a millennial now. It doesn't matter to me that it says Gibson on the headstock as much. It could say Epiphone and be the Gibson shape and have a similar logo look, and I'd be thrilled. I'd be absolutely thrilled, and I would buy an Epiphone at that. But I still think Epiphone should stop around about where Fender stops. Maybe they have a $700 Epiphone. I think Squier stops at what, $500 now?
Yeah.
I could see that being the sticking point. Like, okay, so we're gonna have one $700 Epiphone, but then everything else in the line becomes a Gibson.
Well, you know what is kind of crappy then is handcrafted in China, and this is the thing that gets to me. So they're pissed off about these handcrafted in China things. The handcrafted China $900 for the Les Paul Peter Frampton though. It's the Peter Frampton 3.
Yeah. But I can go online and I can get the same factory workers to build me a guitar that doesn't say that on the headstock and pay, a quarter of that.
I agree with you. I wholeheartedly agree with you. That said, this is one gorgeous guitar, but
except for the headstock.
Except for the heads. Actually, you know what? It works in the custom because that diamond inlay kind of takes your eye away from the boat paddle.
Jim, what am I doing right now?
I know you're shaking your head. For me, it does. It works for me. There are very few of them that work for me. This one works for me.
You know what? That works for me too. It works for me in my fireplace.
$900 firewood.
It's getting cold in here. I need to get warm.
I tell you, I'll wait for a couple of them to go on sale used and grab one.
Hey, the truss rod in there might be good.
But yeah, I mean, I guess, how can you 100th anniversary a Les Paul Custom? There's a 100th anniversary version of the Les Paul Custom in Epiphone. Guess what? Fucking logo they used on the headstock.
Wait a minute. That's fucking confusing. So it's a 100th anniversary Epiphone. So what is the anniversary of? Is it an anniversary of the Les Paul? Is it an anniversary? Because it's not an anniversary of Les Paul. Is it an anniversary of Les Paul, like the guy? Or is it the anniversary of Gibson? Or is it the anniversary of Epiphone? You know what I mean? Like, now it's getting really fucking confusing. What are they commemorating?
Les Paul's 100th birthday.
Okay.
But you know what it's got for the headstock? The Sheraton. It's got the Sheraton branch, with the flowers.
Sure.
Just not my thing.
So, I mean, look, if you like Epiphones, sound off in the group. It's fine. Like, I can handle it. I'm a man. I can handle it.
Handle it like a man.
But
I think you should look at the headstock. They actually changed the headstock on the Frampton one.
For my
Take a look at the
homework for
headstock.
next
It's
week's
actually
for
different.
my homework for next week's episode, I will look at the headstock.
That's right.
I won't
Sure.
like it, but I'll look at it.
And it's only 7 pounds and some ounces, so it's actually light.
Yeah. So now they're using garbage wood over there too.
Could be.
I'm just that's hearsay and rumor. Nobody knows what the hell that is. But it is really interesting that Gibson was having a problem getting mahogany, and all of a sudden chambered guitars started coming out.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, who would have thought? You know.
Who'd have thought?
Just remember this: when you buy a chambered guitar or guitar with a carved top, you pay for the wood they cut away.
You do. You pay for them to throw
You
some
pay
of that
extra for the wood that they throw away.
wood in the garbage.
Extra, not just the. You don't pay for just the blank. You pay for them to actually grind it away.
Yep. Yeah. You pay for them to buy the wood and then to throw it in the garbage.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
I know, man. We live in a strange world. We live in a strange world.
And because of that, I have been Jim,
And I have been David,
and we have been
the Practical Guitarists.
Woohoo!